Evening. I want to welcome you to another episode of Why Domestic Violence is Wrong and what we can do to help. Good evening, Falcons. This is week 8 of our 8-week presentation on abuse and domestic violence. Tonight we will delve into the cycle of abuse. You're an idiot. You're stupid. You're fat. You're ugly. These are just a few of the words I heard my dad yell out most of my life. As a woman who was abused, I want to tell you how this began for me. So close your eyes as I tell you my story. I did not wake up one morning and think to myself, I'm going to let him physically, verbally, and sexually abuse me and do nothing about it. I did not look at him with rose-colored glasses because I loved him so very much, because I could not see the abuse. Instead, I looked at him and I saw my dad. Yes, I saw my dad. You see, I am the product of domestic violence. My dad and mom were constantly fighting. The first time I heard my dad put my mom down, I was 3 years old. My mom had burnt dinner because she was too busy helping my little sister, who had just thrown up everywhere due to a severe ear infection. So, she had asked my dad to pay attention to the spaghetti. Had he? No. So when it burnt, he degraded her. He told her she was stupid. He told her that she was ignorant and demanded, like a child, that it be fixed immediately. This went on my entire life. And he still treats my mom like a doormat. I look at my mom and she has the classic signs of battered women syndrome. Battered women syndrome is a pattern of signs and symptoms such as fear and perceived inability to escape, which appears when a woman is systematically abused over a period of time. So when I got in my first relationship, I did not see that abuse was something other than normal. I thought it was how love was. You see, I was a product of witnessing domestic violence. According to the Texas Council on Family Violence, domestic violence is a leading cause of injury to women ages 15 to 45. This is more than muggings, car accidents, and rapes combined. In 2015, the Texas Family Council on Violence documented 158 intimate partner homicides in Texas, which is a drastic 20% increase from 2014. Domestic violence is very common. In fact, 1 out of every 4 women in the United States will experience some form of domestic violence in their lifetime. The Domestic Violence Hotline receives 21,000 calls a day, which is actually about 15 calls per minute. Most women and children live with agony, fear, and torture of domestic violence for years before ever reporting it, and some never do. Instead, they become a statistic. It is the abuser who is responsible for the abuse. But as a battered woman, it is the victim that is always blamed, not by their abuser, but by their friends, families, strangers, and their own self. The woman is not to blame. Violence is a choice they make. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, domestic abuse is an incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, coercive, threatening, degrading, and violent behavior, including sexual violence. In the majority of cases, this is done by a partner or an ex-partner. It is very common. In the vast majority of cases, it is experienced by women and is perpetrated by men. Domestic and family violence costs our nation $5 to $10 billion annually, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. I know many of you are thinking exactly what I thought most of my life. Why did she stay? If it was so bad, why did she stay? These are questions victims and survivors of domestic violence often get, not only from their friends and family, but from law enforcement as well. Most of the time, it is the victim that is looked down upon, when it should be the abuser that is questioned. Instead of saying, why does she stay? Try asking yourself, why does he abuse? Instead of blaming the victim, embrace and help them. If they do not want your help right away, show them that you care. If a person smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day and then gets lung cancer, do we treat them as if they themselves did this? No. We show compassion and do what we can to help them. Well, that is what abuse is. Abuse is a cancer that destroys lives, ruins families, and often kills. Thank you for your time.